Welcome to this defensive line room when you got here and see a bunch of potential NFL talent lined up.
Well, it felt really good. We were very talented. I talked to Dabo when we were, talking about having this opportunity to take this job, and he told me, he's like, Coach, you're gonna have the #1 defensive line in the country, and so I've seen that thus far. This spring, guys are working really hard, and we don't even have Brazil out there, Trey Williams, so it's gonna be. I'm gonna be feeling good about myself. I can keep them all healthy. I may be up for the defensive line coach of the year, if they all stay healthy and play well, man. But I got a great group of guys, great character guys in my room. Love them like my own sons, and they're leaders in themselves, leaders on this team. So I'm excited just to have the opportunity to coach them.
I heard you say you like to get out on the field and actually drill with your players, and Rook just told us he's still waiting for you to put those cleats on.
Yeah, well, Rook doesn't know that I actually put on 80 pounds since last summer. So I started a juice cleanse today, and I'm gonna go vegan. So probably the biggest vegan in Clemson. But yeah, I'm gonna lose some weight. It's coming though. I'm gonna put the cleats on, and I do a little movement, just not as much as I've done in the past. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's funny that he would say that, of course. I like to put the cleats on out there and demonstrate. I'll do some little activation period, maybe some agiles and some ladders, but I'm not, I may have like 1 or 2 plays in me, maybe run plays in between the hashes, and that'll be it.
They say your feet are still pretty darn good.
My feet move pretty well, The indoor facility kills my back, but I can move it when I feel like it, It's just that I don't really have to anymore, So I coach now, but I can move a little bit still. So.
How do you see players respond with you being that, hands-on? How does that just change the dynamic for them?
Well, I think, like, for me, I think I spent the first month or so just getting to know my players, as a new coach. Even though I'm a Clemson alumni and these guys have heard my name before, it's really important that they get to know me as a person. I get to know them as a person, and that's where it starts. You have to build, that foundation has to be built off of that personal relationship of love, and you spend about a month of doing that, and then you can coach them hard. But if they don't have a level of respect or have a personal relationship with you, then that can become tough if you come here trying to lay down the hammer. So I just spent really the first couple months, man, and just really getting to know the guys, asking about their family life, where they're from, and those things are important. And it starts there, just building that relationship. But the guys are responding really well. They're working really hard. I've challenged them in a lot of ways just to get technique and fundamentally sound. And so we've kind of, with the guidance of Wes, at defensive coordinator Mickey, we've done things a little different, simplifying things so they can play fast, and they really enjoyed it. And I'm just really excited to be able to, pass down the knowledge and things that I've learned over the years as a former NFL player and as a former NFL coach, and just pass that knowledge on so the guys can be successful. That's what matters to me.
I found an interview you did back in 2018.
Oh, really? Did you?
And whoever was interviewing you asked you if Dabo called you and asked you to come back and coach, would you do it? And the interviewer didn't even finish. You didn't even let them finish. You immediately interrupted them and were like, yep, I would come back. That would be my dream job. Do you feel like now that you're here, you've kind of had that like pinch me moment? You just kind of can't believe that.
You know what? Yeah. I think I was in a suit and a tie.
You were in a suit and tie.
I think I was in Greenville. I was coaching for the Titans at the time, and it has been my dream job. I kind of tell you a little kind of inside of how I got the job. I was actually talking to a coach who had an opportunity to become the defensive line coach at his alma mater, but he didn't get the job. So he called me and was asking for some encouragement. So I was talking to him, and I said, hey, man, sometimes the timing just has to be right, and I was telling him, I was like, hey, I've always wanted to coach at Clemson, but I said, they've been winning football games, national championships. I said, I have a lot of respect for Lemansky Hall and Todd Bates and the entire staff. I said, I love those guys. I said, the timing for me hasn't been right, and I say, well, maybe, who knows, the opportunity will come down the road. You never know. I hung up the phone, and literally Dabo called me like 10 minutes later. Like out of nowhere. It scared me. I almost didn't answer my phone. I didn't really think he was calling to, offer me the job. And, so to be here, man, it's just a blessing. I really feel like, God really ordered my steps in order for me to be here 20 years later. And so I'm just excited, very humble for the experience, and really excited. Haven't even gotten around to all the people that I know that are still here, just because it's just been so overwhelming with everything. But it's truly a blessing.
when you say simplify things so guys can play faster, is that the defense as a whole, or you mean the defensive tackle position?
Just as the defense as a whole, I think Wes and Mickey has done a really good job of just kind of simplifying things so guys can play faster, just not putting too much on their plate. This defense is very complex, a lot of different looks, and so that's why they've been really successful over the years. And I thought, Brent did a very good job while he was here. But Wes is phenomenal. He's really, really smart. I didn't know Wes. I've heard of him just because he spent some time in the NFL. So there's some guys who I know that I played with at Pittsburgh and I've coached around that knew Wes. But when I got here, I was really just blown away. Great person. Couldn't find a better person, but he is really smart. He knows this defense in and out, and so I have a lot of respect for him. And he gained that respect for me in a matter of a couple of days, just sitting in the meeting room with him and just being able to absorb some of the knowledge that he has. Man, it's out of this world. It's outstanding.
Coach, they had to rely on Peyton a little bit last year with the injuries, and Lamonte was injured himself a little bit last year. What have you seen from those guys in their
Oh man, I would say Peyton Page is right at the top right now. He's having a really good spring. He's done a really good job of losing some weight. I think when he got here, they told me he was about 390 pounds. I think he's cutting his weight down to about 325, 330 now. So he's moving really well. He's one of the guys that's really caught my eye, being a young guy. I'm expecting a lot of great things from him, man. Just got to continue to be consistent. But he's done a really good job this spring on the field. And it started with just off-season conditioning and just his diet plan, man. He's worked really hard, so I'm really proud of him. And, he's getting better every day, so I'm really excited for him. Cape Hart, as you mentioned, he's getting better too. It's just the little things, just working on the technical fundamentals of his play. I mean, he's a taller guy. You're always going to be talking to him about getting his pad level down. But man, he's done a tremendous job. He's getting better every day. And so I've just tried to challenge those young guys, give them a couple things to get better at. Not give them 10 to 15 things, but a couple things each day. Man, they've really stepped up to the challenge. But I'm expecting big things from Cape Hart and Peyton Page. I think it's going to be a really good year for them. And this is the biggest thing as defensive line as a whole, just to stay healthy. And we can stay healthy and have all hands on deck, man. It's just, the sky's going to be the limit.
Nick, how much did coaching at Auburn help you learn to be a college coach as opposed to being an NFL coach?
What a transition coming from the pros and stepping into the college ranks. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity I had under Coach Harsin and Coach Derek Mason, give me an opportunity to come to Auburn. I had some other NFL opportunities that were present at the time, and I had a really good relationship with Coach Mason. Met him when I was at the Tennessee Titans when he was the head coach at Vanderbilt, and got into the college ranks. And guys, people were warning me. It's like, hey man, guys that were in college, that were trying to get out of college, come to the pros. Like, hey man, that recruiting is something else. And I'm like, well, I'm from a small town with 62 people. I have a lot of random conversations with people at Piggly Wiggly and the IGA, so it can't be any different than that. So I've adjusted to it really well. The recruiting piece, I love talking to people and just trying to be my authentic self. I don't put on a front or a show. I just like to show people who I really am and get to know them as well and hear their story. Because I've experienced so much in life. I thought I'd be the perfect coach because I've dealt with it all. I didn't grow up in a household with two parents, and I experienced a lot of adversity. I've lost my mom. I lost my grandmother, parents. All my parents are actually deceased now. I lost my grandmother last year over the summer. And so I've experienced a lot, here at Clemson. My experience here, my experience in the pros, as a player and as a coach. And I felt that it would be a great fit for me, and it was. And so I really gained the hearts, the players that I coached there at Auburn. And they were so close to me that, I actually had a conversation with them before I took this job to make sure they were going to be okay with me leaving. It was a really exciting opportunity for me. But in this business, man, you become, not just a coach, but you become like these kids' parents or a very important person, part of their life. And so for me, it's been an easy transition for me, and I'm loving it.
Rue continues said that you've taught that group about every hand combat move that there is. Can you give a little bit about what your coaching philosophy is and sort of how you came up with over the years?
You know what? The thing that I've done is, I don't know everything as a D-line coach, man. I've absorbed a lot of information from high school coaches. I've even taken some of my footwork drills from soccer coaches. So I don't know it all, and I think that's what makes me different, man. I learn things from a lot of different people. I've had an opportunity to go out and speak at Glazier clinics, and I pulled high school coaches aside and had an opportunity just to kind of pick their brains, man. So I've taken in a lot of information. I've been around a lot of great coaches during my time in Denver, in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and playing in Arizona. So I've been around a lot of different coaches and did a good job of taking notes and learning a lot of different things. You know, defensive line is really about having good hands and feet, and it's a violent position, all right? And so in terms of the hand combinations, that's come from me taking Hapkido, taking boxing lessons. You know, when I was out in Arizona, I played for the Cardinals. I actually trained with a trainer that had trained Mike Tyson. So, you know, I've kind of, you know, pieced it all together. I watch YouTube videos. A lot of people think like, you know, guys are creating things. You go on YouTube, it'll show you a lot of different, you know, combinations. So I've just taken all of that in and just absorbed a lot of information from a lot of good coaches around me, and just kind of brought it all together. And I use drills that can really carry over into what we're doing defensively. And so it's been really good. So they've learned a lot of new things with me being here, but they've adjusted to it well. I think the biggest thing is just me having some consistency with what I'm doing, and so they can kind of measure themselves, you know, as we continue the drills to get better.